in the like first-person shooter games. So as you like train for such games, it is taxing almost similarly to what a professional player would experience. You need to have great fitness levels, you need to have great concentration levels, you need to, your level of processing needs to be really high so that you're able to react in the least amount of time so that you gain that extra edge, which is very important over your opponent. So without this and without putting it in a way like you just rely on playing on the game day, you won't have the exact results that you wanted, because people out here are putting in the hours, putting in the time, and especially now that schools are closed, even now the kids will be playing such games. And say you're not as well equipped to deal with them, in like 2-3 years with the ever-changing esports scene, they will come and topple you over. Like what is happening now, we're having a large group of young people that have just finished high school and are doing tremendously well in the esports scene just because they started early, which is a huge thanks because of the Esports Federation, because of what they've been doing, taking esports to the grassroots levels, such as the universities, even schools, the primary schools. So with proper engagement with the government and stakeholders, it is something that can grow the economy substantially.
Well, we'll be coming to the numbers because esports, I know they do a lot of reporting on the value of esports. Ronnie will come to that. Let's now talk about, one of the challenges that, that everyone puts whenever they hear esports is that it is taking the children away from the playground. And how are you mitigating this such that there is that balance for real life growth?
Yeah, that's an important aspect because everything should be done in moderation and everything should be done in a proper way. But what I'll just say is that esport is in fact adding more value, because what we are doing is we are taking your kid away from the coach and we are bringing him to a shared experience. When you play with others in a team setting, you will not be able to play for 5 hours alone. He plays in a simulation football game. When he comes to a competition or he goes to a training, he has the aspect of turn-taking. He has to allow others to play, he has to allow his teams to play, he has to allow time for his coach to speak to him, and now you learn of elements that he has mentioned here. When he started playing competitively, he was now able to know that, look, you need to be fit. You're going to be seated for 2 hours. So it is to your benefit to exercise because you need back strength. You need strength in your wrist. So actually through esport,
you want to have fat fingers.
That's why when you come now, we tell you you need to exercise. So esport has really helped actually. It is making video gaming not become a sedentary activity, where now we are taking somebody away from the bedroom, away from the home to a shared experience, and they go back and they share this knowledge. For example, when you take it to the university, students are able to know, oh, so for me to be a better player, I need to concentrate. What makes me concentrate? Perhaps reading many books, perhaps swimming makes me a better esports player, because if I can concentrate in the water for like 20-30 minutes, I can take this element of concentration here. We have one of our players who went to Commonwealth Esports Championship. Her name is Chantel. She plays the violin, and she tells us how the similarities, because the concentration she needs in the violin, or she gets from playing the violin, she brings it to the esports, and she's able to beat other players because of the mental sharpness. The esports is also giving her better mental sharpness. When she goes back to play the violin, they're able to play it. Also, right now, most kids are accessing sports for the first time on a screen. So if you want your child to play football and he's starting to play with your phone at 3, give them a football game. When they go to school, they'll go to the football pitch because they'll want to see what they saw on the screen. So I'll say that esport is now becoming an enabler, and not a distraction, but an enabler of physical sport.
Well, let me come to you, Elias, and let's take a look at some of the things that for every person who's now an e-gamer, it's getting now to professional level. People are running. I know there are people who are earning their living through esports. What are the key things that one would need to know such that you can get into this and start competing effectively?
First of all, you need to identify the game that you actually enjoy and really like, which is very crucial because you cannot do something that you don't like. It's not sustainable. So once you do identify this, you also need to get out there, come to competitions, come see or gauge your level of skill with other players. And only through this way can you actually know your weaknesses or your strengths. Because when you are alone, you get very little feedback from yourself, and it's actually usually very biased. So you like tell yourself you're good in this and good in that. But once you come to the tournament, you know, oh, I need to improve in this and that. Then you need to, like what is happening now in the esports scene, you need to come together as a group, maybe as a team, help each other out, engage with them, get practice sessions in, and also find like somebody that can support you in ways that are like getting a console, which is not a basic requirement, because they are gaming arcades which you can go train, practice. And once you get all this in, it will just be you and the game and enhancing your skills so that you're able to perform better through competitions. And only then can you even be able to like represent Kenya on the highest stages like the Commonwealth, Esports World Cup, and the now coming up Olympics. Yeah.
Let's talk about the economics of this, Lusigi. One, the investment required, for example, for you to have a qualifier, say for an African championship, or like for football, you do the A-League One. You know, that's it's one that has been big for you. Just give us a number, the real financial numbers around this.
Yeah, putting up an esports competition is also a huge task. Just like putting up any other competition. You'll need a team, first of all, to be able to organize an event. If it is a PlayStation event, you need to hire equipment. You need to have this equipment. At the moment, as a federation, we are lucky. We are closing in on a partner who's going to be giving us 40 monitors. And after that, we are looking for partners to give us now the playing console. So first, you need that. You need the equipment. In the beginning, we've been hiring this equipment. You need a location that has proper electricity. Remember, we are electronic sport. You need that electricity to also have backup, because you don't want Elias, when he's at the edge of winning 500,000 shillings.
A monkey swings.
A monkey swings. You want to be able to do that. You also want to be able to have referees, because our players are also very innovative. So you need some level of monitoring, so that maybe Alliance is not playing using AI assistants. You need somebody monitoring that to ensure the level of fairness. You also need prizes, because they should not just lift a trophy and go back home empty-handed. You need something for the players. You need the staff required. You also have an element of production. That's why we say eSport, just like any other sport, has an ecosystem around it. You need production. You need people behind the camera to be able to show the clips you've been showing here. Those are people. You need commentators. You need analysts to be able to tell you the strength and weakness of Elias if he's going to be play against Lyon, why he should be able to back Lyon or to back Elias. So it's an entire ecosystem when it comes to organizing these qualifiers. If it is a mobile esport competition, you need to have lots of extensions and many other things.
All right. So this is that's Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi Aliet, and at this.
Yeah, this is
event.
This is KCB Sports Club. He came to watch the A-League One tour. It was so big he couldn't miss, and Wahome should not miss the next one. This day we had 486 players who were battling for the 4 slots of the Nairobi region to be able to get a slot to represent Kenya in France. So he came to see for himself the level of competition that is there, and we are happy when we see this kind of support. You see, even when the corporates are able to see, or even our social institutions like schools, when they're able to see that you have the hierarchy of the government coming there to recognize this. Of course, you've seen in France, President Macron is a huge champion of this. Yes. You know, in Saudi Arabia, His Royal Highness bin Salman is a huge champion of this. Recently, we saw the President of Venezuela pitching for this. So I think in Africa we are fortunate. Apart from Morocco, I've not seen this level of recognition from the hierarchy of the national administration recognize this, but also we would say Nakuru County government, they were able to support some of their players who are playing in the national competition when he took the competition there. And we are talking to 2 other county governments closing in on competitions in their regions, just realizing that these partnerships, they lessen the burden. When you have a county government, for example, you are assured of venue. When you have a county government, you know you'll be able to cut a lot of costs when it comes to organizing these competitions. When you have an institution of higher learning, you'll find most of them have equipment like TV screens. They help you cut the costs. So it just shows that it's about bringing together the entire ecosystem to make the sport move forward. Also as a federation, we have private tournament organizers supporting them, giving them more training when they're hosting these competitions on things like safety standards, on things like fair competition, because it's not just about the federation, it's about the entire ecosystem. How do we support somebody organizing a competition in Mombasa to be able to do it effectively? What can we be able to do? Do we link them with their county government and other things?
Right. Alliance, let me come to you because Ronald mentioned something, and it's all about technology, AI assistance, and how you make every game that is played fair. Just what are these checks that you're seeing being put in place, and what you do to even ask competitors to ensure that there is fair play, not fair game?
Yeah, okay. So like FIFA, for instance, which is extremely popular, sometimes you do have online tournaments, and for this you need to stream yourself while playing your opponent, so that it's clear that no one is assisting you on the other side, or somebody else is with you maybe in that particular setting that is helping you perform better than your actual skills. There are games like he mentioned, PUBG. You need people to monitor you're not using bots which are AI assistants, so that they help you like in aiming. You're able to aim better than your opponents, which gives you an unfair advantage. And with this, not only do we need such structures in place, we need also the morality of it to be communicated to gamers, so that if you have the morality in you, you're not inclined to cheat, you're not inclined, you respect your opponents, you respect yourself and the level of preparation you've made, and you know that on your best day no one can defeat you. And if you instill this better among the gaming community, it trickles down to a better society. You fewer vices in the communities, people live together harmoniously, they are friendlier than ever. And as you mentioned, through introduction of esports to schools, such values and such morals can be instilled at a very, very young age. And once this is done at a very, very young age, we get a nation that is top of the world.
Mm-hmm. Very well. Now, let's talk about something, because in March 2025, Kenya shall host the Olympic Esports Game qualifiers, and this is for the Olympic Esports Games. But this is where it all started. IOC President Thomas Bach, he did announce esports as the newest category of competitions that are going to join the Olympic family. Let's listen to this announcement.
And I want there to put for your vote to approve the creation of Olympic Esports Games in the framework of the proposal provided to you by the IOC Executive Board. Who is in favor of the creation of Olympic Esports Games? Please raise your hand. Very difficult to see. It is a clear majority, but again, let's go for the ones who do not support the no votes, please. We see no vote. Is this correct? If somebody wants to vote no, then no, then this appears to be correct. And abstentions? I also don't see an abstention. Is there an abstention? No. Thank you very much, my dear friends and colleagues. With your vote, you have created the Olympic Esports Games. Congratulations and thank you very much, and also congratulations to our friends and partners from the Saudi National Olympic Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the IOC members. Thank you very much.
So that was the decision by the International Olympic Committee at their 142nd session that created this esports. And Ronald, for you, what is the impact of this? Because it's going to be every 2 years, rather than 4.
Yeah, this is it's a very huge step, and I said we are now in the holy grail of sports competition. Olympic dream is the biggest dream of any sports person, and in our bid to give the legitimacy to our sport and legitimacy to the hard work.
Ronald, let me just keep that thought. We'll be coming back to that conversation about the Olympics. Let's now move on to the Supreme Court, and this is where the Honorable Chief Justice Martha Koome is speaking, and this is at the inaugural Supreme Court Conference and Exhibition to mark 12 years since the inception of the court.
Republic of Kenya, Chief Justices Emeritus, and our visiting Chief Justices, Your Excellency, Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. Allow me also to acknowledge the protocol that has been set and abide by it, and recognize my brother and sister judges from the Supreme Court, from all the courts, and all the visiting justices, and our esteemed members of the Judicial Service Commission, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Supreme Court of Kenya, I am most delighted to welcome you all to this conference as we commemorate 12 years since the establishment of the Supreme Court of Kenya. Allow me to particularly single out for special mention and recognition my brother and sister Chief Justices and judges from other jurisdictions who have traveled from across the continent and the world to join us for this conference. Let us appreciate our esteemed guests. The theme of the conference, reflecting and introspecting on the Supreme Court of Kenya's jurisprudence, 12 years of defending the Constitution, captures the dual purpose of our conference, which is to celebrate the milestones we have achieved while critically examining the journey we continue to chart as Kenya's apex court and the ongoing commitment to uphold justice, to uphold constitutionalism, and to uphold